Hi guys, it's Shell, Heart of It All Custom Creations. Welcome back to another video. If you're new to my channel, thank you so much for stopping by. Hit that subscribe button to see future videos. I post new videos every Wednesday and Saturday. So today I'm going to do a Peekaboo wine tumbler. Fairly simple, so let's go ahead and jump right in. I'm starting out with this wine tumbler. I had gotten a pack of 4 from Amazon like forever ago, and I thought I was all out, but moving stuff around in my craft room, I found it, so I thought, why not do it? So I'm going to go ahead and sand this tumbler. And as you can see on the silicone pad, like how dirty it's getting. It's all that dust that's coming off. And I'm going to go ahead and clean this with 91% rubbing alcohol. And then I'm going to tape up around the rim using electrical tape, but I am going to cut most of this off because I'm doing a peekaboo. I want to not have to sand down all that glitter. So I am just using my cutter here and just left a little bit up at the top. And then I'm going to put some paint that I mixed up, like a pink and a white, so it's a really light pink, and paint this whole tumbler. And while it's still wet, I'm going to use this as my adhesive and use Blossom by Peach Yellow Glitters. And it's a really pretty pink opal. It's got like a purple shift, almost a rose gold shift, a whole bunch of different color shifts in here. But it's just absolutely gorgeous. So I took off that tape and now I have that clean edge, just making sure that I have good coverage, tapping off the excess, and I'm going to let this sit to dry. I do seal it and add 2 coats of epoxy. I'm going to go ahead and clean up my rim using my craft knife and just getting all that excess epoxy off of the rim. And there were a few spots that were still a little bit pokey. So I am going to take my sanding sponge and sand it down until it's nice and smooth. And once again, I'm going to clean this with the 91% alcohol. And then I had cut out of using my stencil vinyl a bunch of diamonds. And this first one, I actually had the words inside the diamond, and I just didn't like how that ended up looking. So I ended up covering that up and placing it on the bottom. And then here's some other diamonds. The big one was supposed to go on the bottom, but it ended up being a little too big for the bottom. So I do put that on the front. And with this being a kind of a curved cup, you do have to pay extra attention to making sure that all of that vinyl lays down flat so that when you go to paint it over it, that none of that paint seeps underneath there. So here's where I go ahead and just cover up the words. And then I take that big one and move it down because I'll put the words above it. And I'm just using black acrylic paint. And I'm going to let this dry. Once that is mostly dry, I go ahead and take my weeding pen and start removing my stencils. And I'm being very careful that I don't scrape the paint. I do set this aside to completely dry for about 20 minutes. And then I am going to epoxy. So just using about less than 10 milliliters of epoxy, I am going to put a coat of epoxy all over this tumbler. And you can see how dull that black was. And once you put the epoxy on, how it just shines right up. I'm going to smooth all that out, and then I am going to take my torch and pop any bubbles that there might be. And then I'm going to also use like a chunky mix glitter. It's called Love Affair, and it's got like black and rose gold in it, and I thought it'd be really pretty for this. So I'm going to just sprinkle this on, put a little bit in my hand and sprinkle it on, trying to avoid the diamonds as much as possible. Of course, it's going to get in there, but I do go back and remove those. So I start to remove some of that chunky that got into the diamonds with my craft knife, but that wasn't working. So I just put on a glove and just started removing the excess glitter from there. Then I'm going to let this spin, give it another coat of epoxy. Once that is done, then we'll move on. So now we're looking, and it's pretty good. And I cut out in rose gold. This is Tech Craft, I believe. And I just cut out diamonds that will go over those peekaboos. And again, it is tricky because some of it is a curved surface. So I had to be very vigilant in making sure that those lined up as great as possible. And of course, this very first one I struggled because it's right on that curve. But I finally got it and was able to move on to the remaining diamonds. This is the words. It just says always shine. It's kind of hard to see because I probably should have put a offset on it, but I didn't. And I believe I got these diamonds from Creative Fabrica. They are still running their special for the year for $47. So definitely check my description box below if you're interested in getting a membership to Creative Fabrica. It is so worth it. And I'll also post everything that I use in the description box below. Now, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to seal this with a coat of CC DIY Quick Coat. I will give it 2 final coats of epoxy and then it'll be done. But for the tutorial, I do not show that because I was running out of time and I needed to get this voiceover done. So yes, but this is what it's going to look like. And I think it's just so stinking cute and simple. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a great big thumbs up and I'll see you next time. Bye guys.